Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for being with us today. Today, I have a very special guest with me, Diana Boskma. She is a certified life and health coach, mental fitness coach, and wellness practitioner with over a decade of experience supporting people through meaningful life change. Through her platform, Connecting Life, Diana helps individuals reconnect with themselves, improve their health, and navigate transitions with more clarity, resilience, and self trust. Her work spans everything from mindset and relationships to gut health and the microbiome, bringing together science, intuition, and deeply compassionate support. Originally from the Netherlands and now based in the UK, Diana is also a meditation teacher and lifelong student of well-being, spirituality, and human behavior. She creates spaces through coaching, workshops, and conversations where people can slow down, listen inward, and begin to build a life that truly aligns with who they are. Inside Life Mastery magazine, she is the voice behind Wise Women, Wise Guts, where she explores the powerful connection between our inner world, our physical health, and how we move through life. Wow. Hi, Diana.
That was quite wow. Thank you for inviting me today. Wow.
Thank you so much for being here. I really, really appreciate it. And I appreciate that you are one of my contributors in the magazine. I can never thank you enough for that. It makes the magazine so much better.
Thank you.
Okay, that was a pretty impressive bio, but let's start with who are
I was
you?
impressed. Who
Who
am I?
is Diana Boskma?
So, you've already mentioned that I'm Dutch and live in the UK. So, well, I'm a mother, a grandmother. I have a dog. So, that's part of my life. And yeah, life health coach. I've been doing that for ages. I did work as a volunteer for some years for a variety of organizations as well because I just loved doing that. It was really interesting to help women because most of it was about helping women in their journey through whichever topic the organization was about. So, yeah, that's kind of in a nutshell me because you said much more than I would have thought about. So, it was a really cool introduction. Thank you for that.
You're most welcome. Okay, so your work blends life coaching, health, and microbiome. Can you take us back to how this journey began for you? What led you here?
Ooh. So, it started as a teenager for me. So, what was my real so my dad died very young, and that was health problems that he had. And then I had to say, I don't want anything like that happening to me. So as a teenager, I already, because he died when I was 7. So at that point, not so much, but then later on, these things started clicking in my head, and then I had to say, okay, I need to research health. So I started, and then later on in my early 20s, I did a training for naturopath because, again, I wanted to learn more and more and more. I also had an interest in meditation and things like that already as a teenager because I honestly loved it. I was a bit of a nerdy child. So I spent a lot of time in the library because that was the thing back then.
Yes.
Online, you didn't find it, it was all in the library. So I learned a lot about all these things and it was really amazing. And then over time, by continuing learning more because I found it all so interesting, then the microbiome popped up because that was when I started out really not something people looked into. Because we're talking about the 80s. That was not a thing back then. That was just, nobody knew really anything about it. And then in the late 90s and early 2000s, that became something that people started looking at. And then I started following a couple of scientists. Yeah, and here we are. It didn't change much. It just added more to it and learned more. So many cool
Yeah,
things to learn.
there are, right?
Yeah, there's no end to it. I just keep loving it.
Well, that's a good thing, I say.
Yeah.
So, you've worked with so many women across different stages of life. What patterns or struggles do you see most often, especially in midlife?
So the biggest thing that I've discovered is that women, for a long time, take care of others. That's frequently first the kids, and then frequently elderly parents follow on that because they need more care. And then when all that care has passed, there's a gap, as in they've been working and taking care of everybody, so they've been busy, haven't really been thinking, and then that moment happens of, now what? And that's what I see happening a lot. And the other part of what I notice a lot is the moment the midlife starts, the hormonal change starts, that's when they start feeling less happy. And that totally coincides most of the time. Most of the time, the two of, you know, needing to find more purpose in life after caring for others, but also the hormonal change tends to happen at the same time, and it makes life pretty hard for a while. But the moment you then work on, because the hormonal change actually creates that the microbiome changes as well, because that just happens. That's just the way it is. But working on the microbiome while also working on finding a new purpose, then there's yeah, that just makes the world of difference. But it's really this thing of what's happening here.
Right.
And moving a bit through that is it's important.
It is. So you are a monthly contributor to Life Mastery magazine, and your column is called Wise Women, Wise Guts. What does that phrase really mean to you, and why is gut health such a powerful entry point to transformation?
Okay, so what it is with the microbiome is that literally from the moment we are conceived, we have a microbiome that's literally basically from, because the human body is not sterile nowhere, because we have microbiome in our brain. Even there's bacteria that it's literally everywhere. So also from the moment you're conceived, it's there, and as you grow, there's more microbiome. So that was one of my things, as in it's always with us. So it's a super crucial thing for our health as well, because anything, the gut brain axis, but also when, for instance, a woman who's a fertile age has a really messed up microbiome, then a conceived egg cannot do the implantation because it's just not the right environment. So there's so many things to it. So that gut health thing is, for me, has been this thing of, this is amazing. So I love doing that. And then when I see women in their midlife with those changes, that again was this thing of, it's really important to really pay attention to it when you're going through the hormonal change, simply because your microbiome changes, and that can have an effect on your thinking as well. So you have the gut brain axis, and when your microbiome is healthy, you'll feel better all round. So yeah, that's how, for me, it all really fits together. As in, take care of your microbiome so you feel better, your hormone levels are better, because there's so much that your microbiome does, because it actually helps you create nutrients out of your food as well.
Why aren't more people talking about this?
Because it's not a very long researched topic. It only started like in the 90s, like the late 90s even. So it's a topic that it always takes time for something to hit the mainstream. So yes, there are some articles about it now. It starts to grow, but it was when I did biology in school, nobody talked about it. Like, this was not a topic. And then it started to grow a bit in the 90s. Well, that's not that long ago. In my head, only like a few years, but yes, more than 20 in the meantime, but it doesn't feel that way. It feels like it was like yesterday,
With
but
you,
okay.
I'm with you.
It's, but anyway, that still is not very long, because new research takes 10 to 20 years before that hits the ground in the medical settings. So I had, a few years ago, I needed to have some antibiotics. And then I asked that doctor what to do, because I was really curious what she knew. It wasn't really to make any trouble or anything. But I had this thing, what about my microbiome? And she had this, well, I don't really know anything about it, but my son's looking into it. I think just eating a bit of yogurt will do. And I thought, oof, they still don't know anything. So I left it at that, because there's no point in going for that discussion then. So I looked, as in, okay, this antibiotic will do this, this, and this. So I need to make
Me
sure I
too.
replenish that, that, and that, and work on it. So one of the big things for me is also variety. The more variety, the better.
Mm,
So I looked in what all the things that I can easily do at home contain, and that was a good variety. So there we went.
it is. It is, but we don't know.
No,
Women don't know about this, so that makes it a bit harder to make
yes.
to do something about it.
Oh yeah, yeah. When you don't know, you can't do anything. So
There you go. Many women don't immediately connect emotional well being with physical health. How do you help them see that link without it feeling overwhelming or complicated?
so it may not always be not overwhelming, because just learning something new can be overwhelming for some. So it's a thing of starting small, taking it in small steps, because that's one thing that I find really important, is to always take small steps. Like, I'm currently talking with someone who's not a woman, but and so he's got some difficulties with his gut health. So we started at the basics, and I'm not going to, because I can tell someone everything, because I'm nerdy enough to do that. I can totally get lost in the whole topic, but I know that that's not going to work for anybody. So we started with broth, how that is healing for his gut. And I mentioned fermented foods briefly. So over the last couple of days, we've been chatting a little bit about it, as in, exchanging messages. So we had a conversation, we've been exchanging a couple of messages because he got curious, but I wouldn't right away throw that in, as in, I'll mention that that's the next step, but that's about it. Because the moment you know that broth is helping, that's step one. And every step is another one. So just keeping it within what works. And also meeting someone where they are. When you know nothing, I can just chuck everything at you, but nothing's going to change. So it's going to be this thing of, all right, you're here. First step you can do, let's talk about that. The next step, let's talk about that the next time. And just go one by one by one. And that does make people able to move along, thankfully.
You describe yourself as a compassionate and supportive listener. What does that actually look like in a coaching conversation? What makes your approach different?
hmm So, first of all, I meet someone where they are, whether it's life, business, health, doesn't matter. We first focus on them. And that focus on them means that people can feel heard, because what I do is I listen deeply to them. Then I also reflect back what I've heard to make sure that I'm clear, that I know what they want me to know. Because sometimes you have this conversation where someone shares a bit because they either have said it so often so they don't even think about it anymore, that I won't know everything, or just because they feel a bit embarrassed or something. Doesn't matter. There's frequently reasons where they share a part of it. Then when I reflect back, as in, I've understood this, this, and this, is this blah, 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 blah. Now there's more. Okay, continue. So just making sure that they feel heard is the first one. And then from there on, we can build on that, and with questions, seeing where they want to go, what they want to do, what they want to create in life, what they want to do with their health. It doesn't matter, but with the questions, helping them see possibilities to move forward. Small steps.
That's good. When someone comes to you feeling stuck, whether it's health, relationship, or purpose, what's the first shift you try to help them make?
The first shift is that they themselves understand what's going on. So the moment you know what's happening inside you, the awareness creates that change is possible. When the awareness is not there, you can feel stuck, but you're not aware of what's going on and what can change. And then for me, at the end, the important thing is that they see possibilities at the end of the conversation, so that they have something to continue with. Because when you're stuck, you're not going to see any possibilities. So it's really moving away from the stuck feeling to, and I have props for that. I have a magic wand, I have a key, really big key, and it really helps. I was really baffled by the difference that makes, to just say to someone, I've got a key here. You have 5 doors in front of you. Open the one that, and what's behind it. And people come up with things. It's really beautiful to just talk them through some short visualization like that, so that they see possibilities. It's cool.
Very cool. If a woman listening feels disconnected from herself right now, her body, her direction, her energy, what's one gentle place she can begin?
Um, when you're disconnected, you're usually not here right now. And being right here right now is how you get connected. So generally, when I end up with someone in a call who is in Timbuktu or wherever, I talk to them in a way of just sit down, have a breath, feel your bum on your chair, feel your feet on the floor, and talk them through that so that they become present. And when you're present, then you're less disconnected, because then also one of the things that I really love doing is letting someone focus on their body, as in, how do your feet feel? How do your legs feel? How does your belly feel? How does your chest feel? Because you become so connected with yourself that way because you're focusing on your body. And it doesn't even have to take that long, but the moment someone becomes that present with themselves, you can get into more connecting type of conversations about, you know, getting awareness of what's going on in life and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But
But
first, become present here.
yeah, but it can be challenging sometimes if someone is not used to doing it, right?
Yes, it can. It definitely can. I've had a conversation with someone a couple of years ago that was someone that was really not present at all
Hmm.
and also felt not okay. So I managed to get that person to be present. So we talked about feeling yourself sitting and all that. And that then asking, are you okay right now? Because sitting here talking with me, generally speaking, there's not much going on then when we're focusing on each other and we are okay, like you and I, we're okay.
Yeah.
And there was nothing big going on in their life. There was a lot of big stuff going on in their mind. And I tried to get them to be present and be okay at that point. It took the whole conversation, but at the end, that was a huge light bulb. But it took an hour before it was this, yeah, actually, I'm okay, because it was constantly as if, yeah, but tomorrow, or, yeah, 5 years ago. And it was this,
Yeah.
no, 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 I'm talking about right now. Are you okay right now? And yeah, it was a really, really interesting conversation. And we still sometimes talk about it because it was so big, that change. And it was in itself not so much. It was more about sitting here and being okay here. But for them, that was huge, huge change. And
We're
it's
not
still
used to it.
something that they do. Yeah.
We're not used to it. If we're not, yeah, present is being here right now. It's
Yeah.
not tomorrow. It's not in 10 minutes. It's now.
It's right now.
But
It's
we
right
don't,
now.
yeah, we don't always get it.
No, no, no. And this was really someone who's been living in the past and in the future at the same time, all the time, was rarely present. And then getting them to be present was cool. It was
Yeah.
also something they really enjoyed. So that was, yeah, it was amazing. It was really, despite the fact that it was one call about being okay in the present, it was one of the biggest shifts I've seen
There
in
you
someone.
go. There
Yeah.
you go. What does a well lived life look like to you today compared to 10 or 20 years ago?
So today, that's more about myself and my family. Um, in the past, it was a lot about other people. And these days, that's not so much. So in the past, I would worry about what neighbors would think, what friends would think, what coworkers would think, bosses. Not so much anymore. It's kind of irrelevant, because it's about whether my family and I are comfortable and do the things that we like. It's about creating experiences together and enjoying life. And when you're thinking about the whole world, you're not enjoying life. So that's been for me the main shift over the last, yeah, 10, 20 years, because I was really worried about others for a long time. And these days, no. One of my things became at some point is, so when I'm 90 years old, will this have mattered? Nope, not one bit. And it was nope. Then it's not mattering now. When it doesn't matter then, it doesn't matter now. So
Perspective,
it's,
right?
yep, yep. It's about perspective. I learned that from someone that I was coaching with, as in, think about being 90 and looking back. How would you feel about this? And then I just said, probably nothing at all. Most things you forget after a couple of weeks as well. So why would you even bother about it then? It's not relevant. So yeah, that's been a really big one.
It's amazing. And congratulations on achieving that, because I know a lot of good people that still think, no, what
Hmm.
will people think?
it does pop up. I'm not clean of it, but for the
Sure.
most part, it's like, doesn't matter.
I suffered from that, and I still it lingers sometimes,
Yeah.
and I'm like, yeah, I really don't care. Like I'm at that age that I'm just like, oh,
Hmm.
let it go.
Yes.
I
I
mean,
think, go on.
we are who we are,
Yeah.
like I am who
Yeah.
I am, and it's
Hmm.
not about changing me so that you are comfortable or other people are comfortable. I'm just going with let it go. And that was a big thing for me, about my kids as well, who
Hmm.
are responsible adults now.
Hmm.
I always thought they had to do more, be more, not for me because I want them to be happy, but for other people that have
Hmm.
expectations.
I've been there, and I've had to completely let go
Me too.
because it's more important that they are enjoying life and are happy than anything else.
Right?
Because I see a lot of people who did do the whole career thing and were not happy. It actually changed for me with reading the book The Happiness Advantage, because that author talks about, because he works at a university, so he talks about students who focus on being happy and students who focus on when I'm successful, I'll be happy. No, you'll be successful when you focus on happiness, not when you focus on success and then being happy. Because happiness is, you got to do that right now. So when you focus on enjoying life and being happy, you're going to have more success than when you first focus on the success. And that was like, whoa, that was a big one for me. My daughter actually told me to read the book because she'd read it, and I thought, wow, that's a huge change because
I need
a lot of
the details.
yeah,
I will put them in the show notes so that everybody
mm,
can read the book.
honestly, it's a really, it's not a big book. It's quite it's an easy read, but like when you're not aware of these things, that it all starts with happiness, and it makes sense because when you're happy, people want to work with you, want to be engaging with you. When you're grumpy and you just want to achieve stuff, and so I need to achieve that, then I'll be happy, or I need that house, then I'll be happy, or I need that car, then I'll be happy. It's all not gonna. It's gonna make your life pretty miserable in the long run because it's always about something else. The goalpost always changes. So when the goalpost is "I'm happy here right now," that's a good goalpost.
Yeah. The other day I had this epiphany that people keep saying, I'm a perfectionist. I don't do more because I'm a perfectionist. And I'm like, okay, let's not do that anymore. Let's strive for excellence, because we perfectionists, you're always comparing yourself to somebody else, and it's always moving. The ball is always going. You always
Yeah,
need
yeah.
to do more. If you just decide that you're going to do your very best, that's your
Hmm.
excellence. That's really not more you can strive for.
I even say good is good enough.
It is,
When
but
it's good, I don't have to do more. And it's about me being a better version of myself instead of
yes,
comparing to others, because others will always be in a different place. The thing is, when I start thinking about and comparing myself to, for instance, some millionaire who has 5 companies, I'll never be okay. Not worth it. So I'd better be okay here right now with me and be happy with me so that I can continue doing the things that I'm doing to help others also be happy here right now with themselves.
exactly, right? I agree. I have a couple of rapid fire for you. Are you game?
Bring it. Yep, go.
Let's go. A word that defines this season of your life.
Peace.
A book or quote that shaped you.
As two, the Four Agreements and the Relationship Handbook. I recommend them to everyone.
Okay. Something simple that makes you feel grounded.
Standing barefoot in the grass in my garden. That's so nice.
And what does self-care look like for you right now?
Taking time for me to knit or other creative stuff, but right now it's mainly knitting and just spending time with myself. And in silence is really nice to just really be with myself. A really nice thing.
Thank you. Thank you, Diana, for being with us today. I really appreciate it. And I enjoyed it.
Mhm.
You gave me a lot of things to think about. So I don't know.
That's cool. I'm happy
So,
for that. And thank you so
yeah,
much for inviting me. I love doing this. It
of
was really
course.
nice.
And how can people connect with you?
My email is connectinglifehc@gmail.com. They can find me on Facebook, Diana Boskma HC, or Connecting Life is my page. I'm on Instagram, I'm on LinkedIn, I'm
I'll
kind
put
of
all
everywhere.
I'll put all your links on the show notes.
All right, thank you very much.
Thank you so much for being with me today, and we'll see you next time.
Yes,
Bye.
thank you. Bye bye.